Sometimes you might need more than one quantifier to express the statement that you're trying to make, especially if your predicate has multiple variables in it. So if we look at this statement, for all integers x, there exists an integer y such that x plus y is 0. So in this case, our predicate, p of xy, is x plus y equals 0. Once I put some variables in for x and y, some values in for x and y, then I can evaluate whether this is true or false. When I put these quantifiers at the front, for all integers x, there exists an integer y such that p of xy, then I've made this statement with two different quantifiers. Notice that this one contains a universal quantifier for all and an existential quantifier, there exists. So what this statement is saying is, if you pick an integer x, any one you want, say x equals 2, then you can find an integer y so that x plus y is 0. So if you pick x equals 2, then I could say use y equals negative 2, then 2 plus negative 2 equals 0. And so you might be asking yourself, does the order that I put these quantifiers in matter? If I had said this statement, there exists a y for all x, p of xy, is the statement the same? And the answer turns out to be no. Because in this second statement, you're saying there exists one single integer, y, that works for every x. So one single integer y that works for every x. But what you see up here is that we picked different y's depending on the x that we had. And so this one's not going to work. So this statement up here, the first one we talked about, is true. But when I reverse the order of the quantifiers, notice I didn't reverse which one had a universal and which one had an existential. I just turned them around. The order, then I got a false statement. So the answer to this question is yes, order matters. But what I want you to think about is it only matters when the quantifiers are different. So if you have two universal quantifiers or two existential quantifiers, then the order doesn't matter. You can reverse them all you want. But when the quantifiers are different, one universal, one existential, then they can't be reversed. So let's think about how we show things are true when we have multiple quantifiers. So I made this table for you that talks about the 4 instances with 2 quantifiers. So in this top left corner, we have 2 universal quantifiers. And to show that it's true, then no matter which values of x and y you pick, your predicate is always going to be true. To show that it's false, you just need to find one single. There is a pair, one single pair that makes your predicate false. For 2 existentials down here in the bottom right, then it's true when you can find one pair, and it's false when every pair doesn't work. So this one is false when every pair doesn't work. Okay, so when you mix the universals and the existentials, let's look at this top right corner. There, for all x, there exists a y. So no matter which x you pick, you can find a y. The y can be different for every x, okay? So you pick an x and then you find a y, could be different. The y values could be different. In this bottom left one, to show that it's true, it's one single x that works for every y.